Hi, my name is Jennifer Perez and I am in Group 3 for this course. Our topic of choice is altruism, and in this presentation I will be discussing incidents of when altruistic behavior has been displayed in the animal kingdom. First, let's start off with what is altruism. Altruism is often defined as an act in which an individual or an animal sacrifices its own well-being for the benefit of another individual or animal. Basically, altruistic behavior constitutes selfless behavior that is performed to benefit others. The issue with altruism commonly is the argument of whether an act is truly altruistic or not. Reasons why altruism is present in animals relates to Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. Charles Darwin introduced and did extensive research on the concept of natural selection, in which he believed individuals and animals would strive to increase their own chances of survival and reproduction. He later realized that this was not always the case in the animal kingdom, which often displayed incidents of altruistic behavior. In The Descent of Man, Darwin went on to explain the phenomenon of altruism in the animal kingdom by introducing the concept of kin selection. He no longer believed that survival of the fittest related only to promoting survival of oneself, rather it promoted the survival of those fittest in a group. Animals would go out of their way to help those of the same species to ensure the survival of their genes and reproduction of the species as a whole. Altruistic behavior is seen with the vervet monkeys, as some animals within the species produce alarm calls in dangerous situations to warn other monkeys. They have specialized alarm calls for different threats in order to allow the monkeys to know how to respond in that situation. For example, when an eagle is approaching, the vervet monkey's unique alarm calls allow the other monkeys to quickly climb highly branched trees where eagles won't enter in fear of damaging their wings. In reference to the concept of natural selection, those producing the alarm calls are exhibiting altruistic behavior by directing the threat towards themselves to help others. Natural selection will in turn favor the monkeys that don't produce the alarm calls, as they are more likely to survive during these threatening situations. The monkeys producing the alarm calls are contributing to the survival of the species. Honeypot ants also have an altruistic community in which all members serve a role that promotes the survival of the queen. Within this community, roles dedicated to serving the queen involve hanging upside down, storing sugared water for when the queen needs it, and ants that develop giant heads to serve as a barrier, preventing intruders from reaching the queen. The queen in this community is the only one that can reproduce and expand the species, as all other ants are neutered. Another interesting aspect of why all ants are neuters is that they don't have to be preoccupied with reproducing or having others to care for rather than their queen. Having the queen and her selected mates be the only ones capable of reproducing also ensures that only the best traits are being passed on in all future generations of ants. In reference to vampire bats, they have developed a strategy to aid other bats, as they are prone to dying if they go 70 hours without feeding on blood. In order to save fellow vampire bats, bats that were able to feed can regurgitate blood to give to those that haven't fed. In vampire bats, though, this act of kindness is very often seen to be reciprocated. While they engage in this act to ensure the favor is returned later on, they are also promoting survival of the species by not allowing their fellow bats to die if they fail to feed through the night. While altruism is seen often among members of the same species, where animals put themselves in danger to help others to promote the survival of their species, true altruism is better displayed in cross-species interactions, where animals are aiding others in surviving without even having the reason of promoting their species' survival. This is seen through the following examples. In one instance, it was seen that a bottlenose dolphin with a spinal deformity was accepted into a family of sperm whales. The dolphin was seen to nuzzle and rub against the whales, and the contact was often seen to be reciprocated by the whales. After the interaction was observed, it was discussed that the dolphin with the S-shaped spine was probably too slow to keep up with its pod of dolphins, and therefore he was better integrated into a family of slower-moving whales. Another example is that of the humpback whales, which were seen to save a seal from an attack by killer whales. There is no known reason why these humpback whales would put themselves in danger and enter an active attack by killer whales to save a seal that had no relation to them. This interaction is seen quite often and is believed to exhibit true altruistic behavior, as there is no benefit to the humpback whale in the situation. As well as in between different species of animals, altruistic behavior is also present within human and animal interactions. This has clearly been displayed over the years through terrifying incidents of humans entering, accidentally or purposefully, animal zoo enclosures. One example is that of Brookfield Zoo. At a Chicago zoo in 1996, a 3-year-old boy fell into a gorilla exhibit and was approached by a female gorilla named Binti Jua. The gorilla was seen to carry the child and cradle him in her arms as she walked him towards the service entrance, where she was immediately met by zookeepers who were able to retrieve the child and take him to safety with no incident. This human-animal altruistic interaction is also seen on the other end, as displayed by humans. In 1990, Rick Swope, a truck driver, was visiting the Detroit Zoo when he saw a chimpanzee drowning in the exhibit's pool. The man reports he could not stand to watch the chimp fighting for his life, and without a second thought, he jumped into the exhibit to save the drowning chimp. He swam to the chimp and carried the 135-pound animal to the edge of the pool. The chimp did not attempt to hurt the man at all during the rescue mission, and they were both able to survive the terrifying situation with no injuries. The Detroit Zoo thanked this man for his heroic acts. This concludes my presentation. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed these examples of how animals exhibit altruistic behavior. We should all engage in altruistic behavior from time to time, performing selfless acts of kindness to benefit others and make the world a better place. Thank you.